Okay, folks, here's something that has been on my chest for some time now. I absolutely loathe Beyonce's version of Dolly Parton's song Jolene. I loathe it. And I need to make clear why. Because, of course, I've been accused of being racist, and largely that's because I called the song Ghetto, which it is. And there are some people out there who, because they don't understand that ghetto refers to a set of values rather than to any particular race of people, they have a tendency to be reductionist in their thinking, because, white guy criticizes black woman, everything condenses down to racism for them. And it's lazy thinking. I dare say it's not thinking at all. It's just tribalism. It's the first instinct of people confronted by someone who has a genuine complaint, like I do, about the song. Now, the first thing anybody who's inquiring about, well, Mike, why do you hate Beyonce's version as opposed to Dolly Parton's version? You have to understand that these are two different songs. They are two entirely different songs, except for how they sound. The melody is the same, but because the lyrics have been changed in Beyonce's version, these are two completely different songs. So I'm going to read off the Dolly Parton lyrics. The Dolly Parton lyrics go like this. And I'm not going to read Jolene 4 times because the name Jolene is repeated 4 times in the chorus. I don't feel like doing that each time. It's going to drive you insane. Jolene, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I easily can understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of men, but I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you and whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, please don't take him, even though you can. That is the Dolly Parton of this version of the song. That is how she originally wrote it and has performed it for the last, God only knows how many years. And it is a song about a woman who is utterly abasing herself before her superior rival. She is begging this woman, whom her husband is attracted to, whom her husband may be falling in love with, and is just begging this woman, please, you can have any man in the world. You are beautiful. You have got everything going for you. Just don't take my man. Don't take the only person in the world who is for me. You can have anybody. And there's nothing I can do except fall at your feet and beg. It's a song of a woman whose last-ditch effort, whose only hope is that her enemy, quote unquote, will have mercy upon her. And, I've always looked at that song as being just absolutely amazing and breathtaking in how it shows a woman in utter desperation, pleading with her rival, please do the right thing, appealing to her better angels, if you will, and saying, there's nothing I can do except express the utter weakness that I have in compared with you, and acknowledge that you are my superior in this matter. And all I can do is say, please don't take the love of my life from me. What it must take to have to go to someone and say something like that. The absolute humility it takes to understand how lowly you are in comparison to this other person, and realize this person who you're talking to has all the control, and the only option that is left to you is beg. Do you even understand what it must take inside to be able to say those kinds of things? Now, I heard after Beyonce had gotten into the country music persuasion that she was getting her toe wet with country western music, that she was going to perform Jolene. And I'm like, oh, hell yes. Oh my God, I so want to hear this. I so want to hear this, because Beyonce is talented as hell. She is a master of vocal performance. She's an actress. She's performed in several movies. What she can, I mean, to hear her perform this song, to hear her perform Jolene, is going to be an almost mystical experience. And then I heard the song, and I'm like, what ghetto bullshit is this? Because this is how Beyonce sings Jolene. Jolene, I'm warning you, don't come for my man. Jolene, don't take the chance because you think you can. You're beautiful beyond compare. Takes more than beauty and seductive stares to come between a family and a happy man. Jolene, I'm a woman too. The games you play are nothing new, so you don't want no heat with me, Jolene. We've been deep in love for 20 years. I raised that man. I raised his kids. I know my man better than he knows himself. I can easily understand why you're attracted to my man, but you don't want this smoke, so shoot your shot with someone else. You heard me. Jolene, I'm warning you, woman. Find you your own man. Jolene, I know I'm a queen, Jolene. I'm still a Creole banshee bitch from Louisiana. Don't try me. There's 1,000 girls in every room that act as desperate as you do. You a bird, go on and sing your tune, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you because I hate to have to act the fool. Your peace depends on how you move, Jolene. Me and my man crossed those valleys, highs and lows and everything between. Good deeds roll in like tumbling weeds. I sleep good, happy, 'cause you can't dig up our planted seeds. I know my man's gonna stand by me, breathing in my gentle breeze. I crossed those valleys, highs and lows and everything between. Good deeds roll in like tumbling weeds. Good and happy, 'cause you can't dig up them planted seeds, Jolene. I'ma stand by her, she'll stand by me, Jolene. I'ma stand by him, he gonna stand by me. I'ma stand by her, she gonna stand by me. I'ma stand by him, he gonna stand by me, Jolene. The fuck is that? What the absolute fuck is this song? Because this is not Jolene. This is some ghetto-fied version of Jolene, but it's an entirely different song. It's got the name Jolene, it's got the melody Jolene, but this bullshit is by no means Dolly Parton's Jolene. Why? Because this isn't a woman who is abasing herself. This is a woman who is aggrandizing herself. This is a woman who is peacocking herself. This is a woman who is promoting herself. This is a woman who is threatening. A woman who, though beautiful, she perceives to be her inferior. Where the hell did all this come from? And then I think, well, I know where it comes from. It comes from like every damn song Beyonce has ever done, practically. You've got, what is it, Independent Woman is one of the songs that she did well with Destiny's Child. And then you've got Irreplaceable, where it's like, you know, don't you ever get to thinking you're irreplaceable. Beyonce is like master of these songs that are all about, I am a strong, empowered, you know, wonderful woman, and you shouldn't mess with me. But we've heard it all before. It's nothing new coming from her. Where is the stretch here? Because to hear Beyonce abasing herself and to plead with a superior and to say, I'm begging you, please don't take my man. That would have been something. This is just the bargain basement ghetto shit we've been hearing for like the last 20 years. There's nothing in this song that's new or good or elevating. You know, I'm trying to figure out why you would take a song as beautiful and as challenging as Jolene and debase it into this piece of garbage. Now, maybe her idea was, well, you know, the values expressed in Jolene, the original Jolene, the pure Jolene by Dolly Parton, well, those wouldn't necessarily go over well with my audience. So, if that's the case, either find a song that does, or write a song that does. But don't take an existing song and bastardize it into something that's so pathetic in comparison with the original. But another thing, too, do you really think your audience wouldn't appreciate a song like this? That's something that stymies me, too. It's like, don't you think that maybe your audience is ready for something new, something they haven't heard before, something that doesn't play into the same kind of base behaviors they may be used to? This was a chance to introduce something entirely new to your audience. And nothing. And the sad thing about this is that anybody who has listened to Beyonce for any amount of time knows how supremely talented she is. But she took one look at this song and apparently gave the fuck up. And said, there's no way I can do this song. Well, the world is poorer for it, because honestly, to have heard a masterpiece like Dolly Parton's Jolene come from a vocal performer as massively talented as Beyonce is, would have just been an absolute gem in the firmament of music. But instead we get this bullshit. I'm still a Creole banji bitch from Louisiana. whatever. You had a chance to be something better than that. You had a chance to be an entertainer extraordinaire. Maybe give it a try sometime. Maybe, at one of your concerts, just play the damn song as it was originally written. As it originally means. And see if they don't love it just as much. I don't know who the expectations were lowered for. Did she lower these expectations for herself? Did she look at Dolly Parton's Jolene and just said, I can't do this? I'm not good enough? Of course you're good enough. You're freaking Beyonce. Or did you look at your audience and say, there's no way that they'll ever accept a song like this? In which case, you should have picked some other song. I don't know. Maybe, who knows, maybe this version by Beyonce will be a gateway to the version by Dolly Parton. And maybe her audience needs that bridge. I would like to think her audience doesn't need that bridge. I would like to think that her audience could have heard Jolene coming from her just as they could have heard it coming from Dolly Parton, and experienced the same sense of exposure to this almost transcendent humility and self-abasement that the song was intended to convey. I don't think her audience needed protection from that. And the sad thing is that, of course, because Beyonce is black, and because I'm using the term ghetto, people just, there are people who have already assumed that I'm just being racist. Well, I wouldn't take this shit from Taylor Swift either. I wouldn't take this shit from, what's her name? Oh God, what's the singer's name who does not Selena, Shakira. Shakira. Yeah, I wouldn't take that shit from her either. Because to me, it's almost like she's talking down to her millions of fans. And that is why I absolutely hate Beyonce's version of Jolene. It was like taking the Mona Lisa and like blinging it up. It's you change something on it and it's not that anymore. Now, what's funny is there's a recent song that does to me exactly the opposite of what Beyonce did. Because remember, Beyonce is a primarily hip hop performer and pop performer who is now going into the country and western field. And so she took a country and western field and infused it with values that are more appropriate to the hip hop scene. And I would say the low edge of the hip hop scene. Now look at another performer who performed with her in her halftime show. Guy's name is Shabuzi. Now he's got a country hit out now called Tipsy. And it is a throwback to the song Tipsy by Chingy. Now Chingy, straight up hip hop, straight up rapper. It's a straight up rap song. But when Shaboozey took Tipsy and converted it into a country song, he then took it and infused that song with country values and country imagery. He starts talking about how he and Jack Daniels have a history, and everybody in the bar, not the club, is getting tipsy. That's doing it right. You know, it's not that you can't take songs. Of course, nothing that Beyonce's done here is illegal. It's not against copyright law. It's not against even ethics. But if you're going to be country, then do country. And that's what Shaboozey did. He took a song that was hip-hop and he converted it into a country song, while keeping some of the hip-hop flavor to it and yet infusing it with both country imagery and country rhythm and beat and such. I mean, I dare say that what Beyonce did was colonize Jolene. So, which is hilarious because that just takes me back to Kendrick Lamar's "They Not Like Us." It's like you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer. And that sounds to me like exactly what Beyonce did. Oh my goodness. All right. So that thus concludes the music commentary portion of my evening. But my gosh. And again, I just want to say, if you've ever read the works, I really recommend the writings of Theodore Dalrymple, because there are some of you who are going to hear the word ghetto, and because of the associations in the past, are going to think black, that this is something, somehow I'm saying something about black people in general. I'm not, because the ghetto values are something that are values professed by the underclass. And not all black people belong to the underclass, just as not all white people belong to the underclass, but there are black and white people who do belong to the underclass. This is kind of the criminal element and the people who are mired in poverty and who have come and developed this code of bravado that so permeates Beyonce's version of Jolene that it's just pathetic. And if you ever read the works of Theodore Dalrymple, who is a psychiatrist who worked among the British underclass, working mostly with white people, and understanding that the values there are what are holding people back there and here, then you understand that there's nothing racist about what I'm talking about. It's just a matter of, where are your values? And I hate to see the values of a song as beautiful and perfect as Jolene perverted by underclass values, the way that Beyonce has brought those values to her songs, presumably in the hopes that her audience will respond better to an expression of those values than the values in the original, which to me, I find an abhorrent evaluation of her audience. You can expect better from your audience. All right, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Partika. Usually I comment on comics, so if you're interested in comic books, then by all means do subscribe, but I'll occasionally comment on other things like this, especially in the sphere of politics and religion, so if you're interested in any of those, please do subscribe. And I will talk to you later.